but they ain't doing nothing for me. Ask me how I'm fitted, just a holy, like time costs money, gotta roll it, oh, these my veins, I probably move slowly on that phone, hit them with the cons, with the icons, better lies, make the better bonds, silly high fawns on that cry, face painted on, see the night long, wonder what I be waiting on, okay. But I still date a guy with a chain, claim that's 24 carats on a slate, tryna figure if I take the money to the grave, could've paid for my sin.
Guys, it's Monday the 6th of December. Mr. Milise and Curly Wordy are headlining, and Mr. Milise and I are doing a merch swap. So he sent me my hoodie, so I'm just gonna unbox it now, or open it now. And that's it, that's Mr. Milise's. It's a large. I'm gonna try and wear it today. Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah. Hey, poets that come early. This is what poets that come early look like. Just dedicated to, you know what, just saying we're good. Yeah. You know what, we're alright. We know what we're doing. And I love this. So I'm just gonna stand in my legacy. See, my siblings in arms and formational symmetry all around me. But we stand in command with pens and host the sea. I can't help but look back at my journey in poetry. Because whilst under these spotlights I stand alone and I interpret these truths that shout on my phone. From a silent chrysalis, a cocoon too small I've grown to a monarch maker flutters as I give away thrones. Only the maker knew what could come there. Words out. Read it. This is how much I love it. Only the maker knew what would become of this. Crying in my car overlooking a mental precipice. To stepping from the venomous dregs of a chalice to turning a Parker box into a speaker's palace. Twice a month, by the way. But how I mean to go on is how I started. I speak truths to existence and note the departed. Enchant recanted tales of the highly regarded, expose ugliness and sleaze, it remain good-hearted. See, I venerate the creator whilst loving the creators. I love you all. You animate with tongues and stories translated from triumph and trauma to something innovative. To stories Satan and dictated to leave us elated. See, I remain humble until I'm not going to be humble anymore. Because I took my show to the top of the unique view, and I won't stop until BYOB goes international, because I love these games so much, it's irrational. See, I look back to guide what... Say that again. I look back to guide what lies ahead of me, forgive myself so heaviness is eased by levity. I'm achieving my goals to counter life's brevity. When I die, bury me vertical so I can stand in my legacy. Thank you.
Yeah. First off, I want to give a shout out to Poetry Powerhouse couple. They're over there. Like these guys are like crazy in love. Crazy in love. I love it. They're like engaged with everything with emotion. Alright. So this piece is called Type of Love. Oh. And I found that type of love as well.
Yeah. Let me just tonight is the question.
Shut up, man. So it goes like this. It goes. I want that poetry powerhouse couple type love.
Woo-wee! First line, that's all.
Say it again!
Wait up. No, the marketing's right, you know. You guys.
Alright. I want that poetry powerhouse couple type love. I want to understand what it means to flourish in her nature's metaphorest when we have conversations. I've noticed men searching for that 1, 2, 3 love. Can't take the time to learn her ABCs, but quick to give it a straight diva. You see, I know there's someone out there for me. And I don't need to ride Aladdin's carpet and have Blue's Clues snatch Dora the Explorer's map because Swiper decided to swipe right, and again, I don't want that swipe left type love. I want to meet her in the middle, understand her inner core before I relish her outer being. What transformed her to have that all spark, that guided light, that guided me to see the light, the shimmer, the shine, the moonlit light. She's my North Star. And I'm a soft man. Can you see why I look up to her? Oh, so sweet. But yet, why I need her in times of my life where searching through broken darkness can only lead me to cracks of pain because I didn't understand what it meant to be in a relationship. The relation of this ship was set to sail together, but how do you do that when one wants sails and the other wants an engine? I just know I had no motive in my own drive, therefore the driving force forced me out. All I know is I don't want to go back to that type of love. I want that Chuckle Brother type love. That to me, to you type of love.
Yeah.
I want to harness the togetherness with her where we ebb and flow each other's energies. Wave into trance-like states where we can look into each other's eyes and not say a word. The silence creates symphonies because the stare we both give each other aligns with symmetry. I need to find her emotionally and mentally. And yes, we can get together physically, but if I don't know you from the neck up, then the neck down is just a tenderized formality. For example, I don't want to just fuck her. This poem isn't sponsored by Pornhub.
Say it again. Say it again.
I sponsorship, I ain't hating. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want to just fuck her. This poem isn't sponsored by Pornhub. I want to have sex with her well so I can see where she came from. Her creaming doesn't mean it's all peaches and cream. You have to learn how to get to her level. And I don't mean I want to have everything straightened out when I lean over to comprehend her spirit level. Okay. I want to navigate her aura and tantrically trickle my value into her memory bank so she can see that gods and goddesses aren't mythical beings but creatures of love and desire. I want to find her. Not like when I cheat playing hide and seek. Because I don't want to be wrapped up in childish games. I walk like a god, so my goddess will come and we can make higher echelons out of lower ground. Walk side by side, not swiped or sidestep, because togetherness comes with open arms. Interlocking our fingers when we hold hands and let our bodies read each other's palms as we take our first baby steps with adult growth. All the while stepping into this world. And now that I'm a bit more comfortable, I want to make corny jokes with her. Like, did you know humans are 70% water? So forgive me for my little thirst. I'm so stupid. Well, that was really stupid. But in all honesty, I want that poetry powerhouse couple type love. Never mind the acronyms. We can create our own sentences and sentences of intense incense. So when I see myself in the blue and she decides to pour hearts of purple rain, I will sip every drip and have her quench my soul. Why paddle in a river when we haven't even explored all of the ocean? You see, I ain't gonna settle for less. For when I find her, I'll be able to share with her this type of love. But for now, I'll have to keep this poem in a bottle until she's ready to open it. Thank you.
Greetings all. Something with a difference. The storyteller. They say I'm a storyteller, that I carve words into metaphors, similes, and images, as if blessed with the eloquence of Goddess Saraswati herself, basking in the beauty and grandeur of the celestial regions. I say I'm a creative, a spontaneous child who just wishes to pull at the lapis lazuli of moonlit rays, bathing their light in a meadow of supernal splendor, to dine at night with fireflies and stars. In my naivete, we'll laugh merrily together, whisper to Orion while admiring its brilliance, dance with the shooting nebulae of heaven. They say that anxiety, loneliness, and insecurity play a big part in the challenges of life's burdens. I agree, but I see that perusing the future and fear of the unknown are just as troublesome adversaries. A visionary once said, "Planners, planners, you humans are always planning. Love never plans." So I grabbed hold of the future, sliced it on my lap into segments of the here and now, each piece a pawn in a game of chess, rejoicing not knowing what the next moment would bring. Someday I'll be checkmated on the Elysian lap of happiness. For now I'm too busy watering my seeds, giving them the necessary sustenance, even while attracting the humility and benevolence of the glistening sun, so that sooner or later I'll have a bumper harvest. I'm like a wayfarer in a maze of alluring labyrinths, a seafarer, one who prefers, for now at least, to be a lost child of the Divine Mother. I know by faith that there is a golden show, that when I cry or truly knock, that love will come running towards me with a concern, like Mom did. Yet my breath delights in the serenity of the aquamarine waters, even as my sense of adventure does in the marvel of boisterous waves, the melody of seagulls dancing with horizons, the fast-fading crimson glow of an evening sunset. I like my go-karts to be at the top of the hill, oiled and ready to go. Then I become like Lewis Hamilton, not forever thinking of the risks, just darting out in a flash as soon as they wave the checkered flag. If ever I do anything, it is to increase my intensity in the trust of the Most High. This way I can enjoy the ride, bewitched by the thrills that I have done my best, living the results of victory and defeat, to love. They say that great poetry inspires clicks, cheers, standing ovations. Yet some poems are so emotive, passionate, powerful, that they invoke a stunning silence, with some walking away in soulful tears to deal with their emotions. Sometimes the effulgent moon is covered with shadows, yet when the darkness dissipates, it shines with pristine glory. So too, like music, we know of the magical quality of words as poets praise us in the hallway, the bathroom, share a personal experience even a week later. Poetry cannot be contained in boxes. In a concerto,
Say that again, brother man, please.
poetry cannot be contained in boxes. In an orchestra or garden of love, the flute is as important as the violin, the jasmine as significant as the rose. Diversity is an awesome player in this dance of love. They say I'm a storyteller, that I use puns, play on words, rhyme like Shakespeare, is as profound and sublime like the mystic Rumi himself. Perhaps the latter is correct, for love caresses my heart in solitude, stabbing it with intimacy, tenderness, repentance, and sweetness, using me to offer its light to despairing souls in this field of wilderness and sorrow. London Carrier, thank you.
So hi, I'm Hassan Bubble Types. I'm one half of PPHC, and we'll see whatever the hell comes out this time. They call me the guy with the purple tie. They say they know my rhymes, but that's a lie. I don't even know sometimes the words that come out my mouth, you see. I put my pen to paper these days, but I'm in a daze and my words can never really be pictured and laid, I guess. I guess at times I'm just laying in bed wondering when my next masterpiece will come. But they say masterpiece comes from within, and I guess I have to be the piece to master my work, see. I guess these days I'm trying to find different rhythms and rhymes, but I know I too am trying to hold on to my lantern. I guess I'm trying to carry it. I guess I'm trying to take this poetry into a different realm. I know when I was younger that my youth was my reality. I guess in reality, youths are carrying flip blades before riding push bikes. I guess in reality, youths are now really trying to get in mixed up between the olders to impress the grown-ups, but the grown-ups have not yet grown up, I guess. These days, I guess these days they're dancing on graves which names have not been put on yet. See, every flip blade carried is another flip made. I guess I'm trying to flip this chip off the block. I guess I left the block to really find my roots. I guess I grow my hair out for the same reasons. I guess I'm trying to dig into my ancestral roots to really understand where I come from. I guess there's some meaning, but I guess I have no meaning when I put my pen to paper and I'm in a daze. See, these days, I'm trying to find the words to really explain how I feel. But I guess society don't want men to speak. I guess feelings are meant to be something taboo. I guess I'm trying to just show you that this shoe was never too big for my boots. I guess I'm trying to really understand why men do not cry in public. We all have tear ducts to really let out these tears. See, if a tap never opened, what would be its purpose? Why do we have eyes if we can't realize that we're meant to leak from them? I guess even the sponge does it. So if you're a sponge and you soak up water, at one time you're just gonna burst if you don't release it. I guess these days I'm really understanding where my family tribe is. I guess when I bring my own bars, I can really understand what poetry really means. I guess these days I don't really have to shout, I can be soft-spoken too. I guess I now understand why I am another poet in this metaphorest.
Come on!
I'm trying to make this work, and I know that I am trying to be another king. First, do I have my crown yet? I guess these days I'm trying to look to my guidance. I know that would be the one on my right, no, not on my left. See, I'm trying to find this poetry within my powerhouse. I guess I too have to find the blues clues. I guess I really have to understand why I have to be a protector too for my future kid. I guess I really have to make this, and I have to make a win, not just for me, but for my future kin. Because believe me now, there'll be little blues and purples running around, and I know that this poetry will be their legacy, because I have just spoken mine. PC, get out, bubble.
Broski, listen. You're getting dough, I get it. False views are no delicious, but bro resisted. This nigga states you're trying to show them different.
Jeez! Reel it, bro. Reel it, you got this. Say that again.
That was unruly.
Broski, listen. You're getting dough, I get it. False views are no delicious, but bro resisted. This nigga states you're trying to show them different.
Jeez!
Dinner plates of so much visit. Well, let's toast the riches, hoping we don't revisit the soap and dishes. Clean the floors and kitchens. I'm trying to own a few whole foods. That soul food used to console you will get your soul delivered. I'm ghosts and killers from all the ghosts I've risen. And my zone just chilling. Why the vultures swimming the votes they're giving? Being dope and gifted ain't involved in winning these evolved Olympics. It's just their chosen niggas when dingoes listen.
Hey.
Although their trophies glisten, there ain't enough golden glitters to make these clones distinguished. I've been close listening to Rollies sticking. I got phonies pictured. He knows they're fibbing. Yeah, his cronies are with him, but they ain't trying to go to prison. So the police listen on every stone is stitching. Only bucks in harmonies, and lazy bones get busy.
Oh my
God! I never wrote these scriptures. Only fucks in harmonies, and lazy bones get busy. Yeah, I'm saying never wrote these scriptures. He's black hole, but his lingos are British. You don't put coke in his lyrics still. It's just know that listens when I'm so committed to these cold decisions. And I'm a nigga that chose to kill it. Cause life was a joke when he was only kidding. On his lonely swing when he had beef with the Honda Civics, and all they didn't notice him, till he started focusing on flows and lyrics. I was only living and hoping vision while I need the place to crash, and now I'm on pole position. Back against the ropes, I'm swinging. Back against the rope and wishes, cause it's rap when the ropes are ripping, you realize your goals and winnings, but the finish line was only the beginning. It's only lifted. The gate to the Hall of Fame, this game is give and take, and I'll give and take. Lived in the lens, now I'm seeing straight. I was playing the game at the start, and life was dark, but now I'm on course with different shades. Ray-Bans and Christian Grey. But the sex I've seen through these fucking frames, picking brain just to prick her brain, it's insane. I live like Blade, day and night is night and day. They like to say, he's glossing his ways, he's topping them trains, but officers wait. Until my doors and nuts like an officers wait. I hear we had to make him get famous, we didn't wait, but there's billions of different ways to mix and lemonade. From the shit with slaves, now I shit my slaves. Disarray thinking of ways of getting paid. 8 figures until they figure 8. Unclothed niggas to untold riches over kings again. Dinner was liver paste, now it's champagne and dinner buffets. How much can my livers take? Every other dish was flakes, now I'm switching planes for a different taste. I was a young G in the system for a day to Mr. Williams and the finish trip to Spain. Back when I was kicking it with Jay, wishing for the day I could relate, putting a baby in a chick like babe. Then got kidnapped by a chick in Marbella, pissing liquor in the drain, no feelings in my face, but that's just facts, mission on my page. Sitting in the grave, and as the old me is dead, I'm giving it away. Looking at the frame, the shit I've attained, but she don't look at me the same. Promoters ain't booking me the same. They had no dough from at the end of the rave, and I didn't need dough for him to show his face. If that's not progress, I don't know what to say. Since I'm overqualified and I'm trying to show restraint. And I'd rather fucking die than look another employer in his face like this vacancy is great and your company ethos is what I've always tried to say.
I love that.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but you can save the change and take the pain and get to Venice in under 8 hours, my friend. Those goals are yours, but not ours, my friend. You can have shared power or share power with friends. Besides the poison, but life's calling. All I know is I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how I'm on it. You can bet a trip to Wuhan on it. I'm gonna live. That's me, thank you very much.
I don't know if I can be asked again, really, or is that my heart protecting me from something silly? You see, I don't think I'm the kind of person that's good with meeting people online. Conversation starters, I don't even know where to start. Here I swipe, have a look and see what fish are floating around dead in the sea. No, that's harsh, I know, because I'm veggie, I don't eat anything that smells unclean and has one layer of dairy. Yes. Just before I get to this point though, I need to create my thirst trap profile, something to make sure I don't look like I'm from the land, Jeremy Cole. Put some pics in there from 2018, defo not catfishing this vanity scene. Get a filter on that and stick my arse out so it don't look flat. What can I say that's the key to my heart? Perhaps can't say gallbladder with bile, I'll just write part dates and smiles. So let's give it a swipe and see what's on here. I can already feel my sanity going spare. With each passing bloke writing the same nonsense, my vagina is already dried up and on the deep end. Endless pics of men with their pets thinking dogs and puppies will get me wet. A gateway to my pussy when this cat phrase originality. I'm sorry, is this a dating app or a Batsy Dogs ad? Going for that opening line. Oi, what are you saying, B? Reckon that could be your shining night? Fuck me, give that swipe and on to the next. 2 texts deep and the dick's pic ain't even erect. Just some sad, placid, lonely vessel like my dating love slowly going down the shithole.
We didn't want to say that again! Say it for all the flaccid man them.
No, that was
right. So fuck me, give that swipe and on to the next. 2 texts deep and the dick's pic ain't even erect. Just some sad, placid, lonely vessel like my dating life slowly going down the shithole. I love how hey, how are you can cut straight to a let me figure you about or maybe coming to. If only that were true, when sadly reality feeds you with a free fresh gym, making me want to throw myself in the fucking bin. Well, I guess let's get back to that dopamine scroll. Who have we got now? 26-year-old Tom from Whitstable, whose biggest state foul is bumping into a girl he left shit on his chest. But it's okay, because he's looking for his soulmate, as he seems to be ex wasn't the best. All he's asking for, 26-year-old Tom from Whitstable, whose biggest date foul is bumping into a girl who let his shit on his chest. But it's okay, because he's looking for his soulmate, as he seems to be ex isn't the best. All he's asking for is someone who won't lie or cheat, because his insecurities make him want to be the only one who eats and beats. And now I'm swiped, bugged out eyes and the iPhone light in bed at night, to the cream on face, looking like a Spice. Being a solid serving of Nando's mango and lime, because extra hot is overrated. All it is an overwhelming sensation of heat that's uncomfortable and tasteless. What a treat. Also known as daddy issues on a plate, which takes me to Ryan, who's 25, opening with 2 truths, 1 lie. I'm a great shag, can't ride a bike, or I met Ronaldo in a pub in Brighton. Good thing I'm costing cycle, because I'm heading straight back to London. So now I'm 5 my type. Do you like, do I like what I see? Because it ain't just about you or me. It's more about the connection, and if this can be more than sexual, but the longer I'm on here, it makes me want to change my orientation. Now, I've stumbled upon Jack, who's 27, from Devon, clearly with a mental age of 11, as he thinks he's entitled like a predator on heat, but that's because he works in civil service and is clearly a Tory cunt. No. Say it again! And now stumbled upon Jack, who's 27, from Devon, clearly with the mental age of 11, as he thinks he's entitled like a predator on the hunt, but that's because he works in civil service and is openly a Tory club. And with that new information, I think it's best us white finding this dating game going down the waste pipe. It's all just so boring and a bit of a drag. Even RuPaul would see this line up and want to suffocate in a carrier bag. Let's not be too close-minded. Got to keep putting myself out there and make sure I'm playing this love game fair. So this last blind date contestant is Dan from New Milton, who says the one thing I should know about him is that he lives with his mum and he's looking for a threesome. Making my next move very clear with that solid swipe, not understanding all this hype, showing me there ain't nothing out there. So I'm closing the app, time to fall asleep with a wank about that beige vet guy from Schitt's Creek.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I'm a lion, not a kitten.
Again, please.
I'm a lover, not a fighter, but I'm a lion, not a kitten. I'm a budding rose, but have thorns that will pierce your skin. I'm as friendly as can be, but I'm the firecracker you light every 5th of November. I'm the pot on the stove, but don't put the heat too high. I'll boil over whilst you sit in your living room, twiddling your thumbs, whilst you wait for meat to get to the right temperature. Trust me, I'll exceed the temperature you're aiming for. Come on a journey with me if that wasn't a journey enough already. See, I've been fucked over more times than many of you can probably count. I'm sure a lot of you have too. From a young age, I've loved harder than I physically, mentally, emotionally can now. I still somewhat wear my heart on my sleeve. I give everything I can. See, I didn't receive the love I know I should have from family, so I love others to my full capacity. Yet I still get taken advantage of one way or another. Please trust me when I say, don't fuck with the wrong, strong woman standing in front of you. I said don't fuck with the wrong, strong woman standing in front of you. Now let me put this simply. If this poem makes you feel away, no, you made me feel away once. If this triggers you, somewhere across our lines emerging, something clearly went wrong. I'm not saying I didn't do wrong too, it takes two to tango, my darling. I fucked up many a time, but at least I know how to stand tall and accept that I made a mistake. Friends, lovers, acquaintances, I don't know which one we were, but I've learned certain people are meant to stay and some aren't. The aunt I'm referring to even includes my own mother. So if you think you can break me, try being broken over and over again from the one that birthed you, broken by her first. What flame you bring me will never compare to that. My candle has been burned too many times, and the residue that is left is not pretty and doesn't smell good. Some of you know the temper I already hold. Some in my life have yet to actually see it. It takes a lot for it to be revealed. I hold many levels deep. Have built much of tolerance to some people's bullshit, but if you peel that much back of my oniony flavoured skin, trust me, you're gonna do more than cry. By God, I hope you never see it. The roar that escapes when I see red is incomparable to a lioness's lunch. Physical action does not compare to the venom, yes, I said venom, that will leave my tongue. My words will make you feel smaller than the ant that walks out earth. I'm a poet after all. Good luck when the poet is unleashed. As poems by Oya said, come at me.
Come at me! Yeah!
Come at me.
To the ones I actually love and reciprocate that love, we all know what it feels like to be crossed. And I guess this was an out of the blue piece for me. Maybe it's my blue therapy. It was time to self-clean. Here was to jump on the page. Now I release all my anger, pain, and frustration. I encourage you all to do the same.
Yeah!
Was going to be something, but
Yeah, I wasn't in about flavor man. So let me just walk on my back. I got a purple tie. You don't know. Freestyle duo. Yeah.
Come on. Salam, come soon.
Don't know. Yeah. There's a potter with my paper. So I see with no legacy. The yellow got me feeling mellow. But understand, like blue, you fuck with me, you'll be black and blue. Until I stand alone with the walls above me, the walls and trying to disturb and try to refurb until I found out the refurbishment was not my establishment, so I found a punishment, and then I found enjoyment to try to spit the flames and try to spit the photographic pain that I was seeing through. I was seeing through the walls, I was seeing through the lines, I was reading between the lines until I found my lullaby. There was no professor, but I found a seat next to the psychiatrist, and I didn't want to take the piss, so I found my oak was standing next to me, and that was my enemies. My friend Milise. Until I found the snakes weren't the reptiles, but the ones that were trying to pick me up until they didn't like how far I grew. They didn't like it when I made my papers, when I made the slam dunk heartbreakers, too many undertakers, until I found that raw, until I found that triple S, until I look at my flow, until I found the rock into between a hard place with the race, with the face, with the mechanical brain zone, intermixing with the A1, too many freaky, that this fucking don't like me until I bring it down. You see, there's fire in the beats, there's fire in the booth, until I speak the truth, you don't like the room, until I stop with my Charlie, too many snooze teams, but they revolting, now I revolve into my weaponry. There's no AK-47, but I drink it up with my magazine that can 45, but there's no 19, that's the degree angle. I don't want to tangle, I don't want to disdain, I don't want to disarm, but I found the charm. And I found the pain until I looked in the grave next to you and found out myself was something of a waste, of a wet space. Until I found it with no face. Until I collaborated, exasperated, split the game, misery, try to acrobatically, too many buckets want to tackle me until I spin it right round, I can zip down until I roulette the wheel. And it landed on black and landed on red until I made the red D's. And then it's going to shred these. But let me just cut the until I found a shredded wheat. Now my plate to meat. Found out that mine had the bloater was just a motor that was trying to beam it up with the 3-point to try to murkle me, but they did want to Mercedes. But let me just spin it right round, and let me just stop.
Jeez.
I'm swaggalyricalassassin, and this came from the top.
Who's got haters?
Me!
Yeah, who's got pagans?
Bear of them.
Okay, cool. So this is an ode to pagans. Here we go. Looks like they opt out of optimism. I see that.
Yes, thank you. Violation.
Jeez. Looks like they opt out of optimism. I see their ops now, I see division. On their block now, I see their vision. I know to pagans, you men are agents in the matrix. We know what an agent is. An Agent Smith, dressed in black to oppress blackened stages, oppressing all races that blacken pages of what is whitewashed. It's white cause ops press the oppressed till they are stressed and press back, giving no options till they select that button, but they press on, press God, press light, press love, press power and spread word, share verse and 10 nerves. They want to co-opt our growth because what we do is frightening. What we do is enlightening, spreading the unadulterated truth. They hoard knowledge behind Apple and Windows, away from our kinfolk. We harbor ancient wisdom, but we shut it down because they're operating systems. Cops are ops, Judas a user of Jesus, a piece of silver for a crucifix. But what's ludicrous is, only when we're at optimism, they want to deprive us of oxygen. Supposedly for capitalism, opposing our activism when it brings us opulence. As you move on in time, let them keep watch. Neighboring ops act like neighborhood watch. In the Garden of Gethsemane, I'm an ardent fool to be Gethsemane.
Yes!
Making movements on a wretch, free to scorch anyone I detest. In this Garden of Eden, grievance. It's not even Eve's fault. Adam knew just as well before what befell. In the good book, the snake in the garden was ardent to get both of them departed. But the most cunning of snakes wait for you to make your own mistake. So it's even more important for you to fail by your own grace and not by what another person says.
Yes.
I had snakes on my phone before I had snakes on my phone.
Oh, let's go! One more time, say that one more time. Alright, give Nokia a shout out.
Yo, it's supposed to be Nokia. I had snakes on my phone before I had snakes on my phone. They was beloved. Try shaking snakes, they cold-blooded. No matter what's on your tarot cards, these reptiles sorry, let me bring that.
Read it.
They was beloved. Try shaking snakes, they cold-blooded.
Yeah.
No matter what's on your tarot cards, these reptiles blend in like camouflage. CCTV, undercover cameras, under surveillance like panorama. Beware you let in, or who you let in, they shed skin. The spiners bend over backwards to get in. See you as chicken, so they want a bread man. See you as a king, so they want a check man. But you can be opinionated, but ops can be yes man, acting like your best friend or your best man, saying yes to anything to stall progression. So I'm sending like I got a message, no indirects when I address it. It ain't new. It ain't new. All news is no news. Make your own mind, have your own view. Haters post scar, but I post cards of supporters that post up. But you're a pagan, eh? You're acting in a major way. Funny how pagans pray for your downfall, baptizing that hater, eh? Ops have no optimism. Pagans no pot to piss in. No potential in themselves to grant their own wishes. Started off as a stand, but hey, see you shining, now they can't stand today. The unbelievers in your achievements, but how do my wins make you weakened? Better look out for those weekends. To achieve, you must believe you're the GOAT, the greatest of all time. 24/7, 365 days, all seasons. If you fail to believe in yourself, you in turn become a heathen. Once you stop believing in what you can achieve then, well, you start to look at sacrificing goats to elevate your own reclass.
When I say jiggy, you say jive, jiggy, jive, jiggy, jive. When I say jiggy, you say jive, jiggy, jive, jiggy, jive. When I say wait a minute, you say wait a minute, wait a minute, wait. When I say wait a minute, you say wait a minute, wait a minute, wait. Okay, cool. So I've been singing all weekend, so my voice is a bit careless. So I'm going to do a spoken word piece. But then when I heard Liv do her little swipe right, I thought I need to do my song Tinder.
Yes, bro!
So
Yes!
Tinder it is.
You're not ready.
So I'm going to teach you guys
This one's
your cues, so I'm going to get you involved. So when you hear me say, Tinder, I'm looking for a match today, but when I see you on the road, I'm going to be like, you're not going to go, hey,
Hey!
So Tinder, I'm looking for a match today, but when I see you on the road, I'm going to be like,
Hey!
Beautiful. Then in the chorus, I'm going to go, I came across you one Cinderella, but with the T, I'm without the Ella, and you're not going to go, Tinder. Just like this. I came across you one Cinderella, but with the T, I'm without the Ella.
Tinder!
You got this, when you're ready, Mr. DJ. But please, I want to hit the 808s in the bass line, so give me ignorant levels.
Ignorant levels.
Okay.
Hey, this is the vibe still. I remember this though.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
That's that Missy Elliott flow right there, boy.
Wait a minute. I'm on this app trying to find me a date. Okay, looks great. I rate it a 8. Now I need a match, gonna fall for this date.
Hey.
Someone that my both fool with. I know I'm gonna be waiting for that save the day. But it's never too late. And if you're fussy, I need, then I'm sure you can relate.
Hey.
Listen, I'm trying to find me a date. Ended up in a complimentary fight so big. Striking, and you can't even help but hate. Next thing you know, keep trying to be my mate. I wanna be my mate. I'm open to all and I don't discriminate. Tinder, I'm looking for a match today, but if I see you on phone, I'ma be like, hey! I'm gonna you on Cinderella, but with the T, I'm about the Ella.
Tinder!
I'ma be a Bella, Laviana, you can stay under my umbrella. I came across you on Cinderella, but with the T, I'm about the Ella.
Tinder!
I'ma be a Bella, Laviana, you can stay under my umbrella. I'm looking for an ATC, want me to be from TLC. Or maybe someone just like TLC, cause I love me some tea, but they're dying chili. Chili is my favorite exhibition. The way I'm tapping through these faces, that would be a mission. Musician, or technician. All I know is that I gotta keep the young mission. Swipe left, right. All I love, I've been looking for that person that won't make me go wrong. Cause make me take you to my one lucky star. I'm out there.
where you are when you're not even far. I wonder if I am a match for you. Phone heart, bet you know what am I to do. Tinder, I'm looking for a match today, but if I see you on phone, I'ma be like, hey! With the T, I'm about the Ella. Tinder! Could I be a Bella? Like Rihanna, you can take under my umbrella. I came across you once Cinderella. But with the T, I'm about the Ella. Tinder! Could I be a Bella? Like Rihanna, you can take under my umbrella. I'm still waiting to match with Melinda. I gave my lucky star to Belinda. What you got in store for me, like Tinder? I hope a nice surprise just like Tinder. Still waiting to match with Melinda. I gave my lucky star to Belinda. What you got in store for me, like Tinder? I hope a nice surprise just like Tinder.
Saw you on Cinderella, but with a T, yeah, without the Ella. That we had to step under my umbrella. Yeah, I saw you on Cinderella, but with a T, yeah, without the Ella. But running with the back and be your Bella. That we had you can step under my umbrella. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. You say jiggy, 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 jiggy. When I say jiggy, you say jiggy, jiggy, jiggy. When I say wait a minute, you say wait. Wait a minute, wait. Wait a minute, wait. When I say wait a minute, you say wait. Wait a minute, wait. Wait a minute, wait. That's all from Tinder, it's out everywhere. My name is Jai. Thank you.
Do you know where you're heading? That's a question that ignites a sense of reflection, and it makes you view your life as a source of dissection. So do you? Do you actually know where you're heading? Not in terms of distance or displacement, but in terms of time. I'm just checking. Does your destination really justify the time it's taking? Okay, you went to that party, but how many people really appreciated your presence when you stepped in? Does your friends' respect for you extend to seeing you succeed without them benefiting in the end? One quick walk to the shops wishing time would bend. Red Bull, the cure for late nights spent wasting life or indulging in it right, wishing it would never end.
Come on.
Late night texting, fingers poised over a phone, an instrument for social interaction. Playing flat notes in between the melody to amplify the feeling when you're feeling alone. When there's no texts, no follow requests. I'm beginning to see the correlation between no phone and no stress.
Jeez.
And I'm not saying that we need to reverse evolution.
Say it again. Pull up. That was up. That was up. Pull up.
I'm beginning to see the correlation between no phone and no stress.
Come on.
And I'm not saying that we need to reverse evolution, that going back to using a telegram would solve the crisis surrounding mental health, that freeing ourselves from Snapchat and Instagram would suddenly stop people doubting themselves. No. After all, we'd still have mirrors. There'd still be magazines upon magazines of self-righteous celebrities telling you how to make your life pristine. But what does pristine mean? If we get rid of the cloudy views of how people should look and filter out the filters, then we'll be left with the purity associated with how people are naturally seen. You see, social media is a PowerPoint presentation of picture-perfect scenes. That's why you only ever see the private gleams. And this has a negative effect, you see, because it makes people feel as though they're chasing unattainable dreams. It makes you question everything. What's the point? What's my purpose? Can I ever find direction in these endless streets? Searching for a solution when I haven't even found my feet. I sometimes wish Google Maps had a life mode, so I could start off on my journey and I see just where my life goes. Paying close attention to every second, every minute of my life's flow, to both the highs and the lows. Do you want to follow your soul or sit back whilst others solely use you as someone that they can control?
Come on.
Take control. There's no Kia or lock solution, no Blackberry or Apple flavoured answer.
You are rude. You are rude.
There's no Kia or lock solution, no Blackberry or Apple flavoured answer. Be the protagonist in your own story and avoid any climactic disaster. You should have heard the way that Sam sung. Made me realise that I am not the only one. I am more than only one. I do not need to rely on my phone's connectivity to have more force than Obi-Wan.
Yo! What?
Catch South 9 lives, I have only one. Life's too short to only just walk, sometimes I only run. I know that I don't need to rely on an iPhone when I'm feeling low to feel high, to reassure me that I can become the person that I want to become. That I can still be so knee deep in life. That I can absorb each success and be there when the struggle is double and the trouble is rife. Life is so much purer when it's not just lived through a device. There's no transparency in the need to capture a moment. Moments that can't be captured twice. Moments that need to be captured purely through your eyes. Here are a few words of advice. Imagine life is a cake and your mind is a knife. Don't be swayed by this digital world and use your ideas to take the mightiest slice. Thank you.
The duality I see in me is made up of inspiration and creativity. You and I sit down to discuss ideas over tea, best believe, like the growing branches of a tree, I manifest them for you to see. Just like Road from X-Men, I absorb it through my brainstem. Right now it flows out as poetry through my pen, but it'll take much of time when I was a dancer and I really hoped it held the answer, but I was only ever telling other people's stories from their hurt to their glory, so I made a choice to find my own voice. I started to ask the who, where, what, why, when, how, and now I've realised that life flows to a constant rhythm, everything surrounds me is poetic, creativity is magnetic, and when things get a little bit hectic, I'll take out my pen, find a little piece of zen, and in these times write my own stories and get lost in my own poetry and rhyme. And when people ask, who are you, who? Well, I say, call me Glue, that's who. I'm the friend's sister daughter, but you ought to call me Glue, because I'm the go-to.
Come on!
I'm the one that holds shit together. Yes. Yours, theirs, my mum who lives upstairs, and I'm proud to say I can hold together my own shit. Oh, for a bit. You see, I have this game face, some call it emotional armour, I think it's karma, the way certain things stick to me, like sadness and drama. My friends will tell you that I'm that listening ear and a gale force wind, I'll keep you safe in a storm, and I will tell you if your behaviour is not the norm, but I promise to hold that umbrella for you until it stops raining. Just it always does. And I know you can't predict when it'll start again, so until then, I'll help you glue back together those pieces that were broken. It's only a token, I can't promise it'll hold like super glue, but it'll hold for now if you want it to. Everyone's glue grows tacky and weak if it's left out in the rain, but too long and there'll be cracks of pain. You lose your form in the storm, pieces get torn, but when your edges start to pull apart, you come to me because I can turn trauma into art. I've got glue and glitter for that part.
Come on!
I often feel like this weather forecaster because I can predict a disaster, but my weatherproof protection is not a long-term solution, only you can stop your exposure to the pollution. And it's not an ideal proposition, but glue can require some adult supervision. There's no shame. If it were me, I really hope you do the same. So this brings me back to glue, because I'm always the go-to. Invisible, reliable, undeniable strength glue. Just as hospitals use glue to seal up wounds, I'll seal that tear on your cheek with a kiss. I'll wrap my arms around you in fragile tape and help you hold it together, even though I know when I leave, you're going to go straight back out into that weather, and I have to tell myself, you're a hurricane, it can't last forever. It hurts watching. So to all you out there who care and identify as glue, I salute you, whichever side of that forecast you stick to, because many of us will actually hiding behind our lipstick, sticking a smile on our face of Brit stick, and if you sound too short for a picnic, you're bound to irritate you, make your boss away, if you're on social media, it's making you sick, but we need to share our glue with each other, that's the trick. I just hope this message will stick, because everything runs out, even glue. But just because your edges have started to peel away, that's not to say everything you've achieved up to now isn't okay. You just need a reapplication, be it a weekend vacation, hot chocolate in a mug, or your best friend's hug. But remember this. Whether you're feeling sad, ill, or you simply want to chill, you come to me for your refill. Holliedee.
Hi everyone. Hello. So I work at Youth Rallies. We're an organisation that tackles teenage relationship abuse. A lot of people don't know, but 1 in 3 young people under the age of 25 are actually in an abusive relationship. So the work that we do is obviously really, really important. I'm going to do a poem for you guys tonight. Now, I apologise, it's been a couple of years since I performed, so...
No, you got this, you got this.
This poem's called Not Welcome. I was a caterpillar, continuously shedding my skin each time a man sought refuge in my body without my consent, turning it into their very own home without my permission. I used to drink poison. Tried to set myself alight from inside and would frequently cut my skin to bleed out the remnants that they left behind. The last man that decided to turn my body into his home spoiled my insides by pissing in cups and leaving cigarette butts and nail clippings everywhere. He smashed windows and would frequently leave the front door unlocked for any man to force his way inside. My wings slowly developed each time I dared stutter. This is my body.
Come on.
This is my home.
Come on.
You are not welcome here.
Yes.
I went into hiding to protect myself. Bound together by no means, I'm an Aries by nature. After years of living in a cocoon, I finally grasped boundaries. After knocking down and rebuilding the walls, ripping up the old floorboards and decorating my newfound home with flowers, rugs, incense and mindfulness, my home within a home is transformed. I fly freely now, bathing in my own glory. I speak with power. This is my body.
Yes.
This is my home.
Yes.
And you are not welcome here.
Come on.
And oh my, what a beautiful home I own.
Yes.
I'm going to do one more. One more. I'm going to do one more for you. I am sleep deprived and I can't eat. I am sleep deprived and I can't eat. I am sleep deprived and I can't eat. So I am angry and then I weep and it is bullshit because the whole thing is just stuck on fucking repeat. Do not ask questions as to why I cannot look into your eyes, for they say that the eyes are the pathway to your soul. And that's where all of my anxieties go. It's hands around my throat, I can't intake any more oxygen. It's forcing me to remain sitting, climbing on top of me, chaining me down like a heavy weight, sucking all of the energy from my being, keeping me hostage and refusing to let me go. Every second is a constant battle. I am lethargic and weak and there's nothing in this world that can force me to sleep, and I'd pop a pill, but what if I don't wake? You see, that's when thoughts kick in. Oh, for fuck's sake. Because she doesn't like the look of your top, and she doesn't want to be your friend anymore. Maybe you do look like a little bit of a whore, and does he really love you? Or is that just what he's saying? Oh, come on, it's you, take a look at yourself. Of course he's just playing. So maybe it's best you leave them before they leave you, because if you're honest with yourself, they're just going to fuck you over too. I am an emotional wreck, and no, anxiety is not negotiable. My friends and family, well, they are adamant that I am lazy and unsociable. But I don't decide when and where it is I want to go. I just know that today I can leave my house and escape my mind and go back to being happy before the time rewinds, and I'm back to being in a constant state of panic. Because that's when the eating habits kick in, and I begin to lose weight, for I retch and retch until all I'm producing is bile, and a week or two later I can't stop eating, and this weight it begins to pile. Now I am not asking for attention or begging to be seen. I am crying for help, kind of like a silent scream. You see, I cannot tell you what is going on or what it is that I'm thinking, because I don't get the looks and mean comments, and that's when my depression sinks in. You see, I am stuck in this mess, and it is a big fucking catastrophe, because I am not asking for much. I am just begging to be set free. Oh man, I just want to be me again, without the anxiety. Sometimes I have to force myself to go out into public. So when you see me out, just know that I have had a breakthrough. Today I beat anxiety.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And I hope that you did too.
Come on.
I don't know if I'll beat it tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
But I'm praying that we will do.
Come on.
Thank you. Give it up.
with one of the most legendary people on the team already, Milise, aka Wordy!
Istanbul.
Oi.
Bo.
Oi.
Come on.
Spoon-fed on slang.
Yes. Okay.
Raised on words. Wisdom words. Curly wordy. Thank you. When I think of all the things in life that should have broke me, fractured, splintered, could have thrown me a lifeline. Painful perspective, broke new ground. Below ground, burrowed and blocked. I had no choice but to wait. So I waited. I waited down. I waited so long at that crossing that my diaries, they H2O'd me. I waited so long that my magic 8 ball became my confidant. And when the outlook was hazy and not so good, no matter how much I wished, I confided in my fortune fish. My only armour was my mallet's mallet. Dear Deirdre, Mystic Meg, always red, never missed. I waited so long at that crossing that I cross-stitched a bridge made of books so I could word search my puzzle to unmuzzle my word game. To understand that nothing is ever black and white. And whilst I didn't quite fit in the grey, shady boxes between words, I stayed within those lines. On a diagonal loop, not ready to read between mine, I stayed there until pain returned what it took. On loan to barricade what I wasn't ready to glance or look. There was cross words and crossways and intersected blame, but I couldn't cut corners. Laid me out costly. The outlay was a family not ready to hear what I had to say. I was a genius at bottling things up and sweeping things under the carpet. That old sentiment saw my carpet levitating with sediment. Sweeping dregs nervously into my system systematically taught me that feelings, they don't matter. Being vulnerable will only cut the circuit to the power of the powerhouse you built. I had a contingency plan to never let my guard down. Regardless, feelings, they show weakness. But if we believe that weak is less, when sometimes weak brings more, then more is less. We'll be inclined to get this shit off our chest. I am sorry if saying I feel instead of I think makes you feel awkward. Wards are full of people who do not say how they feel. What makes you stronger can bloody kill. Underground, I was mindful to mind my gap. Exhume, fill me up with words less cryptic, because the wrong kind of silence rots away at that fighting spirit, that driving force, the will to win it, the fire to stay the course. Belittles the truth and leaves things unsaid, blurs the lines of who you let in your bed. When the dust had done settling, the pain had not. My pain went deeper into the pain that caused it in the first place, winning accolade, laden with lead. Corrosive material inside my body, inside my head. Space brings clarity. Clearing land over trodden farm, the fruitful, forgiving kind of pen. Penny for them? My thoughts will leave you penniless. Penknife repointed my quill and showed I had a will to heal. Pensively painstaking with penance at the pen's tip. My pen is holstered to my hip. You cannot dissolve. You cannot dissolve the ink in me. You could place my poetry into water after reading, and it would not disinter. Great things come out of patience. Arms of courage, I made a way, and I burned the bridges that no longer serve me in the present day. Troubled water, it can still hydrate you. Run deep, moisten the mind at the water's edge, pour onto poorly understood concealments. I waited at that crossing. I waited until pain showed up. I waited until pain showed itself to be a part of me, and I met pain at that crossing, handed over my worn-out tools, and we played a game of Scrabble. Unscrambled feelings, feelings need feeding. I am the boss of my own board meeting. No game will Scrabble me hearing, because there's no anagram in. Thank you very much.
Let's go!
Thank you. Yeah, no anagram in that one.
Yeah, I got it. When I grow up, I want to be just like you.
That's Mr. Milise, yeah. You often told me to never judge a book by its cover. You might not know the half of it, and the story inside distinguishes the fighter from the lover. You were quick to remind me to judge people by their acts of kindness, so I could relinquish all rights to those with a selfish kind of blindness. You were adamant for me to always be myself, even if it meant being left on the shelf by men who are more selfish than women, you'd say. And those with hearts on sleeves usually pay. Men don't suffer from piles, you joke, because when God created man, he created the perfect arsehole. So see past the stars in your eyes, check their bankroll, avoid the ones who want to control, and find someone who's an equal. They'll cherish you and make you whole. Make sure they don't mind putting on a pair of marigolds. Now don't go giving your cake away to any Tom, Dick or Harry. And don't think a girl's role in life is only to have kids and marry. Be a woman who endlessly strives for her goals, and don't be coerced into quenching that unquenchable thirst. Immerse yourself amongst the diverse first of the many, not the few. Often those with indignant eyes are less likely to screw you over. In life it's hard being poor, but money, it doesn't breed happiness, it gives you choice. And often those without it have to shout with a louder voice. So mean what you say, and don't be mean when you say it. Be the maker of your own merit. And you know, when you're down on luck and low on bread, keep your head and remember that money, it doesn't guarantee life's riches. There'll be hitches and pitches and glitches and snitches, and you'll likely need many a stitches. But switch it and let it be a marker of what never to be. Often pain helps us read and truly see. So make sure you run with that resourceful code and you use what that East End jungle bestowed. I'll be rooting for you with all that we sow. And when you hit that ceiling made of glass, remember you can't buy drive and you can't buy class. If people make assumptions, they're the arse. When you think you've got it hard, know that people have it harder. But if you knuckle down, worship that library card and do your best, they won't only judge you by the size of your breasts, you'll be able to fly from this struggling nest, my girl, knowing you are more than enough. And you'll break free from the piss-poor handcuffs. Maggie, she may have given us our right to buy and Blair your right to an education, but be your own blurred class creation and defy anyone who tells you you can't, because you really, really can. Thank you very much.
Let's go!
That one was about my mother, dear mama, always in thought. What's a free word worth? What's a free word worth? Because I'll be the first to admit that I quite like a dictionary for dinner. Doesn't make me a sinner. Words for breakfast and lunch, in fact, gives my tongue that crusader's crunch. Freedom to the palate. Have you ever played unsung tongue fu with a beak that can bite if it has to? See, my tongue came wagging out of the womb, so freedom to me is letting my tongue run at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That's its power, right? But your need for me to be seen and not heard left me tongue-tied, sour. But not for long. See, I love a good pickle and pork, and you don't get to tell me how to talk. My talk are talking me. Speak yourself free. Dialect, belonging, common chitter, cockney chatter, jibber jabber. Talk to learn, talk to know. Humble girl from Bow. Sparrows fly high, me from the gutter, resilient wings flutter. When you ain't got money, you've got ideas. Talk them out, don't ask, don't get. Wars weren't won on silent tongues. Now, I'm not purporting that free tongues win wars, but if as babies we learn to read with our ears first, it gives us ample passage to prepare the verse that frees our tongues from hostile baggage, better equipped to take on that savage when they realise that troubled tongues transcend.
Sunny. Come on.
Talk thick, me. Socially awkward or socially advanced, mate. I could talk off the water. Damn right. I could talk the iron legs off a donkey. Damn straight. Hanging off your ear roll. This literature fabulous got soul. I could talk for England. I hope so. Let's go. Cut me down because you've got no words to build me up. What a Berkeley hunt. Too much rabbit. Or maybe you were just never enough hair. Don't you ever come up for air. No, I'll talk when I'm dead. Chase that fat, chew a chin wag, dare to drivel, and don't mind your motor mouth. Are you still talking? Zip up, shut up, too long. Be silent or beautifully heard. Don't hide, take pride. Saucy, sarcastic, straight talking, give to the gab, deliver. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Words saved me. Sticks and stones, names hurt. Build up, don't break down. Use words wisely. Talk to yourself kindly. Listen, hear, respond. Words worth more than gold. Sold. Thank you. such a wonderful 15 months, and actually it's a lovely way to doing this, it's a lovely way to round up how wonderful the last 15 months have been for me, you know, to find my way back to writing after such a long time. Writing is in my bones, you know, I wrote as a child. I had my first poem ever published in like an American anthology when I was about 13. And then I worked in journalism for many years, but it was never quite creative enough for me. But I always, you know, at that point in my life, I wasn't ready to shine a light on my own story yet, so I shined a light on a lot of other people's stories, and I enjoyed meeting like the unsung heroes of our communities. And yeah, I think that to now find my way back to writing through spoken word, through poetry, it's almost that, you know, all my friends are like, of course it would be the right thing for Lou to do, because she can't shut up. But yeah, so I feel truly blessed, truly. Yeah. And my first poem was actually about DV, so if I can squeeze it in, I'll squeeze it in at the end. Pick a Mix Pioneers. And this is kind of an ode to how much growing up in Tower Hamlets in the 80s, on the cusp of gentrification, how much it helped me grow as a person. I really craved diversity and difference, and I really thrived off it. Like it watered me, you know. And so this is kind of for the people there, I guess. Pick a Mix Pioneers. If growing up in London's melting pot taught me anything, it's that we're all migrants, are we not? Far from pure blood, we are all a pick a mix concoction of those brave enough to take action, to walk towards an uncertain grace, regardless what's to face, for love, for family, for better salaries, for something as basic as safety. Now that's a pretty good case to say that migration is the bricks and mortar of our human race. Yet the notion that one is more inferior to the other blocks brains like a blood clot, giving birth to us and them nots. Fascists we are not. I mean, are we? Judging people on colour and race, success and birthplace? Sometimes this world is bewildering to me. Why can't people see that people are people? People pioneers brave enough to ask that there's got to be more out there than this. Seeking more than what they were served, staking claims to the human right to exist. We are allowed to fill space. Atoms move and scatter, we matter. Matter of fact, we can't exist without a diverse kind of synergy. So that oppressive force field that you emit of scroungers, destitutes, invalids and undesirable paupers can't play havoc with the survival instinct of those heading for borders. Gravity keeps our feet firmly on the same ground. It's profound that we were all born to move. Yet the history books show that for some the transition may be a little more smooth. If you're skilled, educated and wealthy, you can push through and brain game your way to the west. But for the rest, maybe the only option is an illegal shortcut. They drew the short straw as they wash up on the shore. We could learn a thing or two from the plight of the brave-hearted crew. We could learn a thing or two from the plight of the brave-hearted crew. Few people uproot from choice. These voyages have been forced, inhumane and savage. Dignified feet walk towards a passage because they have been ravaged by things out of their control. Wrongdoings can't dampen the soul. Belief that you can start again. Some know where they're going, others are just happy to be alive, and then there's the ones that don't make it at all. How far do we go back to see that history proves that we were all born to move? The Aztecs did it, the Romans, Vikings, oh, I've lost that bit, sorry. How far do we go back to see where it all, how far do we go back to see that history proves that we were all born to move? The Aztecs, Inca hunters and the Ice Age crew, so too to the Celts, Romans, Saxons, Vikings and the Jews, Native Americans, Aboriginals, Africans, savagely forced to scatter. But every footprint matters. Now, where did we go wrong? Honestly, where did we falter? When did survival of the fittest become more important than teaching compassion and gratitude to your sons and your daughters? If learning to walk is one of the most important milestones in a baby's life, why is it our Achilles heel to give people who want to move country for a better life so much strife? Feet are not cemented in one postcode. Lighten the load and jog on with divide and conquer. Help nestle and settle with unite. Help settle the score with settlement. Oh, I'll happily raise a beaker or two to the skeletons in museums and the unearthed burial sites that prove that this migration lark It's prehistoric. And that is pretty euphoric to think that since the dawn of time, we moved. Thank you. I'm going to finish on my relatively recent one. Very quickly, as a child, I grew up with a facial birthmark, so I experienced quite a lot of stigmatisation. People didn't mean to do it, but unfortunately, you come to know yourself how others see you. This is just about that experience. Mark my words. Face it. Face up. Mark my words, because back then, my face couldn't speak up. I was angry with their mind's eye. Sorry, let's start again, sorry. Face it. Face up. Mark my words, because back then, my face couldn't speak up. I was angry with their mind's eye. This girl, the little me, traded in coordinates. Navigating my way around places was never my forte, but I could mind map my way around most places. Too young. Young enough to eye read what the mind could see or not see beyond. Beyond me, the 3rd degree. But to some degree, you'd have been forgiven for not seeing past it, because back then, I couldn't see past it. Took it on the chin, that small unit of me, mean angles calculated, divisions on self-esteem. Full steam ahead. Perpendicular to my eye line, I was more than that 90 degree. I had to do a 360 before I understood the trigonometry.
Jeez.
Bullets travel twice the speed of sound, sonic, word, ammunition, boomed out. But it's what's on the outside that counts. Residue, fermented, brain barrel, barren land. If the wind changes, your face could stay like that. Hopscotch into those verbal gallows, infant hardware computed the beauty. It's only skin shallow. Chin gazing at my Orient, that plump red crimson skin, part of my facial constellation, built in. So no, aloe vera and vitamins did not get rid of it. I didn't fall over, it wasn't a scab, cut burn or chin bite from some random lad. I'm not related to Gorbachev and I wasn't Picasso's muse. My mother didn't eat too many strawberries and it's not a password wound. Not judged by the hue of my skin, but it felt like I was in court for the colour of my chinny chin chin. Curious walls blew my house of mirrors, inner beauty held on. See, I wanted to be seen, but not seen. Shell suit sorcerers shelling out names when I just wanted to play out, drink K-cider and be involved in teenage games. Virago Valor on that battlefield, singled out self, saw how others saw her. Self-fulfilling prophecy. But you see, you can't prophesize me. New prophecy is all fulfilling. Because what I really sawed at that pivotal point was a spot the difference gained to make my stain feel like a cardinal sin, when it was a cardinal gem. Carbon matched for your oxygen produced poison, no curtain call on this Cleopatra. My new mantra, the looking glass is not preordained, outer plate glass may have been chipped, but real reflections are born in dark, calm waters, obsidian my smoky depths, and you'll see the inner mirrors travel. Port stain, starboard left, virtuous cargo, caress the little self under duress. I felt like the gods had something to confess. Blood vessels didn't wash off, but then real beauty doesn't wash off. These days, I like to think of my birthmark as a distinctively hallmarked ruby. This ruby sees in the dark, fluoro, fire, life force, gamma ray, light source, built my inner bioluminescence. In essence, I'll reset the story. I'll always champion the girl with a cherry chin. But after a gin, I tell people I got a ruby hemmed in my South Pole. My Aurora lights prove I got warrior soul. Rubies are the stuff of love and passion. Some say in the East, it's a drop of heart blood from Mother Earth. So I could concur that I was blood kissed by the mother of all earths. At my birth, purified plasma mind in my earth crust. The earth births, all that is us. After 2 gins, I'm convinced I'm related to Buddha. facial Dionysus, you're wrong, but my all-seeing Urna sits firmly south of my facial equator. Laser came later when I'd really had enough of all eyes on chin. She-Ra, what's that on her face? By the power of the NHS doctor in shining armour, a he-man fit to fight by hemangioma. Unlocked my karmic persona. See, I saw myself more as a Mufasa, but others saw Scar, but not all scars mark out villains. Remarks permanently mark a person's heart. So next time you visibly hate on someone's face, recalibrate. Don't defecate and deface their wallpaper. Paint a different picture, there's no deficit in difference. Be the difference, and remember, a compliment goes a long way. And finally, when people looked up at the canopy on my face, eyes met eyes, soul stare, equinox, down came those facial thought knocks, no longer blocking people's gazes. I have phases, but still eye contact is so very special to me. Come, swim, synchronise, eye sink into me. The longer you're there, the more you'll discover that I'm a ruby amongst the bees. Natural born rubies have flaws and inclusions, and I'm all about inclusion. Maybe mazes take time to master, a maze in my ecology, linger in my labyrinth, and you'll see that there's nothing quite as powerful as the capillaries that pumped power into me. Thank you very much.
Give it up for the one, the only, Mr. Milise!
Repping the gang as well, metaphorest.
Yeah, that hoodie looks sick. Where did you get it from?
Repping metaphorest out there.
Yeah. I'm also repping Milise.
Plug your own hoodies, plug your own hoodies.
Yeah, I'm wearing Mr.
Plug your
Milise's.
own hoodie night.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Wow.
That's a bit,
Come on, you lot.
Where's
Hold
Fowlers?
on, like a little bit lower.
I've got you, bro.
A bit of myself, it's alright.
South to the house.
How is everyone, alright?
Yeah. Woo!
Who come here with their best, like there, like. Who come here with their best friend?
Yeah.
Who come here with their best friend? Who come here with their best friend?
I'm my best friend, right?
My partner's my best friend.
Your partner's your best friend, that's better. Nice now.
Yeah, it's crispy.
Say to the person next to you, I love you.
I love you.
Say to the person next to you, I love you. Give them a hug and tell them I love you.
I love
you. About some group love. In fact, I'm going to try something. As well. I'm going to try something. See the person that you just told I love you? After 3, I want you to make more noise than them. After 3, I want you to make more noise than them. 1, 2, 3! So my name is Mr. Milise. I'm the founder of Knife Crime Victim Support, and I'm a professional youth mentor. I've come all the way down there from Sheffield today. I don't live in Sheffield, but I was working in Sheffield.
Cool.
And I've got one of the best jobs ever, and that's to teach young people how to express themselves through creative writing and creative art. As well, so it's insane. But this one's cool. I want to try this for the first time ever. I've never done this before like this. And it's called Quick Trip to Cairo on that key. Quick Trip to Cairo.
Wicked.
But the track's called Quick Trip to the Guilt Trip.
Jeez.
And what it's about, before you start, is you'll see that it literally is a quick trip to a guilt trip. And I grew up in a house, my mum was like a 90s raver. She used to go out all the time and rave and
Come on.
And it was a bit of a dysfunctional kind of place, but I loved it and I enjoyed it, and I ended up being a little bit of a raver as well. But it's a long story, but a little bit in this kind of.
Jeez.
Okay. Yeah.
It's gonna be Vips.
Quick trip to a guilt trip. How many times have I used this bottle opener to peel back the lid that inhibits the deepest of my desires? Clutched in one hand, on a Monday when I said I'm not touching the brandy. E&J from the co-op, but you know what, at least I can negotiate the price. 1999, might be slightly fine, but I reassure myself on a school night that I don't do this every time. It's crazy it is. Is £15 enough to pay the babysitters? Especially when I might be coming back in the twilight hours thinking God knows who this is. And I've clocked my phone is missing. Anyway, between wandering around Camden and getting off at King's Cross, I lost my best friend, but she must have pissed me off. I think I'm fucked off. That kebab tasted off and I feel like dozing off with a nice cup of coffee. But I'm not gonna stop, see, nah, not me. I know tonight's been costly, but I'm not about to log into my online banking. I'm kind of recollecting that it's been rinsed out. No doubt my credit card's been maxed out, but I'm out and about shouting out that one day I'll be a millionaire like Rodney. I wonder if she got the night bus. I wonder if she comes back with a bunch of friends telling us that they'll buy Copperberg, Ciroc and wine for us. It's amazing what a line does. A kitchen full of strangers acting like best friends and chewing their jaws off. Talking about how Ford and the Horns had the crowd jumping like jumping Jack Frost. And DT told me 3 times he was loving it, loving it, loving it. Coliseum reunion with a live percussionist, some drums and a sick saxophonist, and MC Creeps it. Really gonna do it again. From what seemed to be the back of his esophagus. We're all storytellers, every single one of us are city dwellers, wanna be Rockefellers in a playground of swings and roundabouts. Too late now to think about who she brings around the house. I realised that when the sun was coming out and the kids were coming down. I'll have to try to pretend to be sober for an hour. Leaned over for some power, just before the door opened and I saw my eldest son. Went from a quick trip to a guilt trip. Asked him to make the littlest some breakfast, and if he did, I'll give him a tenner to make up for it. Trying to avoid eye contact at the same time as making sure my eyes weren't rolled back, but I know that he sighed and then side-eyed me for a fact. It kinda put a downer on the after party, but I'm smashed. Fair play though, he got them ready and I sent them all to school in a taxi. I'm just glad the youngest two never saw me. Should've maybe paid the babysitter a bit more money to stay with me. But I think she was pissed because I made her late for uni. But anyway, now I've sorted the kids out, in inverted commas. I swagger back into the kitchen feeling like the Joker in the circus. Like I've had a hit of dopamine for certain, until some loons started opening the curtains. I feel bad now and my throat is really hurting, but I'm hoping for diversion from any sense of reality. Feels like I've spent half my freaking salary. One of them said they like Amy, so I asked them to play Valerie. And I can't work out if my conscience is crazy or if it's mad at me. But half the room's on Monday, dancing and balancing, silhouettes with big eyes, celebrating the sunrise. I think my bestie went upstairs with some guy. Sometimes I think she's the geezer, cause that's not what I meant when I said come back to mine for an ease up. But anyway, I joke to myself, he's had so much coke to himself that I doubt he'll get a hard on. As I contemplate opening the double doors that lead out into the garden. Cause it's too claustrophobic in here, everybody's talking a lot. But I like the way all of us contributed to the alcohol that we bought in the shop. Put a Super D mix on. I said to one of the lads who offered me a key and his mate said, who'd you get this from? Just as that house tune came on. Please. That was a little bit of an experiment because I've not done that to music before, and what it is, it's just a representation of lots of things that happened when I was younger. So in fact, the kid that came downstairs might have been me, but I'm not saying on camera. But yeah, so like because I came from that background, that's what's kind of made me grow up and kind of get introvert and like introspective, not introvert, and just be able to reflect and unravel and process my environment. And so that's how I've been trying to encourage young people and children, young people and adults as well. I'll share my details with you later on. Let's have a bit of affirmation. After me, I am in control of my destiny. Let me hear you. I'm in control of my destiny.
I am in control of my destiny.
I am optimistic.
I am optimistic.
I believe.
I believe.
I am victorious.
I am victorious.
I am successful.
I am successful.
I have faith.
I have faith.
Thank you for forgiveness.
Thank you for forgiveness.
I am elevated.
I am elevated.
I am energy.
I am energy.
I am what I think I can be.
I am what I think I can be.
I am confident.
I am confident.
I am a born leader.
I am a born leader.
I am positive.
I am positive. Yes.
I am me.
I am me.
Let's get it.
Chest. Said it with chest.
Okay, so that second one, yeah? I wrote this for Essex Police actually, who wanted to address hate crime in the community, especially in their county. And so the way that I approached it, I didn't know how to write about all the protected characteristics that I had to involve. So I just called it My Name is Humanity, because that helps me. That is like just a way to cheat and address everything, yeah, without being myself talking about everything. So hopefully this got changed from the Raven one. My name is humanity. And you can listen to me impartially, but either way it seems to me that now's the time I need to speak. You see, parts of me are falling apart at the seams, and I'm seeing things that make me feel like I need to be woken up from a bad dream. Why? Because it's hard for the mind to know that some of us are being unkind instead of humankind, whilst others turn a blind eye to the plight of those being marginalized. It's like I've opened up a window that I can't minimize and most definitely can't justify. You see, I just can't understand how we've multiplied at the same time as being divided. How we have the technology to guide missiles, but we're still being misguided. What happened to the spirit of togetherness? When did we forget the concept of acceptance? By the time I finished their sentence, there's a story of one of us being born out of love. But at the same time, someone, somewhere, has had more than enough. Frequently harassed, repeatedly attacked for the colour of his skin or for the beliefs that he has. Because he's living with a man or she's wearing a hijab. Ask the person driving them away, the one swearing at the cab. Like he feels this way. He'll say he learned it from his dad, or I saw it growing up and it's just the way I am. I think sometimes we develop contempt for what we don't understand. But if we envelop resent, then things won't go to plan. From the woman in the wheelchair who was verbally abused, to the boy who got picked on when they heard he was confused. You don't have to be the same as every person in the room. I know it's hard to be yourself when they're persecuting you. Would they connect with your soul if they were walking in your shoes? Could we have a common goal instead of separating groups? Can we remember World War II, why we had to send the troops? Can we stop demonizing Muslims and dehumanizing Jews? Can we try not to troll when we post from our devices, like the ones who associate every Asian with ISIS, then walk into a restaurant and try all of their spices? I don't want my kids to grow up in a world where everybody's fighting, where people are isolated because an attitude defines them, where your race or your religion can leave you outside at night frightened, where a Chinese man is beaten because he invented COVID-19. I am humanity. You don't have to victimize me, you are me. I know sometimes not everyone agrees and everyone's entitled to opinions and beliefs, but there's no need for extremism. Every single one of you are the reason I exist. Be the real you. Don't embrace the narrative. You need to know we'll all disappear if I breathe my last breath. Because if everybody's far right, we'll have nobody left. DJ's gone.
That was emotional.
You need to know we'll all disappear if I breathe my last breath. Because if everybody's far right, we'll have nobody left. Good one. When you hear this, I want it to be the beginning of your healing process. If life has dragged you to the darkest of places and you're feeling hopeless, if it seems like negative energy is constantly poisoning your progress, if there's a pain in your chest, if reality slowly but relentlessly draws a map on your face, if it feels like the world is whizzing by and you can't keep up with the pace just lately, I think I know where you are. I think you're lost sometimes like we all are and you're walking with a heavy heart. I think you were born with courage from the very start, but the past has been harsh. I think this isn't the first time you've fallen apart and put yourself together again only to be broken in half. Asking yourself in the morning, how long can this last? With your head in your palms. But look up. Tell yourself that you deserve another chance. Remember it was you who dusted yourself off all of the other times when everything you built felt like it was burning down, but you called it a forest fire. Because you built it all back from scratch at a time when your life was more than volatile, with only yourself to rely on. When it seemed like all of your friends were standing on the shoulders of giants, whilst you're stood in the cold and it's quiet, trying to survive until the stars have aligned, but you're ready to shine at this moment in time. Why wait for the stars if you can see the sunrise? It's beautiful when you can see the glass is half full. And you show people in the past you can't fall. With your head held high, back arched and stood tall. Don't let your dreams die, that's half the battle. Find your safe space and tell them all I'll be back soon. Then close your eyes and have faith in the law of attraction. The universe will respond with more than you imagined. With miracles and breakthroughs, you were born to be a champion. A wise man told me this and I share it with everyone. You don't have to see anyone who don't see that you could be anyone.
Say that again. Pull it.
A wise man told me this and I share it with everyone. You don't have to see anyone who don't see that you could be anyone. So delete negativity and you will prevail. Leave behind those who took the wind from your sail. Find your purpose and surround your tomorrows with the ones who never left you to drown in your sorrows. Be in sync with your instincts and all will be fine. It's about time you realize that you can realign. Nobody ever said you won't fall on hard times, but heroes are born when they are forged from cast iron.
Yes.
When we look at the sun, we know it's more than justifiable. So telling yourself you're more is more than justifiable. There's no need to look back, I know it hurts when you do. What a day to celebrate. It's the rebirth of you. Should we get Christmassy real quick? Should we get Christmassy? Let's get Christmassy real quick. Happy Christmas, everyone.
Happy Christmas.
I can see the beauty of the stars filtering through evergreen trees. Snowflakes blanket the landscape and the air turns to frost when I breathe. Lost on a hilltop, just watching the snowdrop on rooftops and people at bus stops. They're stamping their feet and blowing hands through gloves. Maybe they're in a rush to go home to their loved ones. Maybe there's no one. But at least most of us can go home, kick our shoes off, make a hot drink, snuggle up and put a film on. Or just gaze at the fireplace, the flames flickering and dancing, casting shadows across the room and capturing your imagination. You close your eyes and picture balancing on ladders to hang the decorations. The room is filled with light, love, laughter in your closest relations, with hope on their faces. It's been a difficult year and they've been coping in phases, and we go with the changes. But we never knew this would stop us from going to places. But I hope you all found hope behind the doors of your advent calendars. And you're sharing stories of how you overcame disappointment and challenges. Not everyone's managing. But now is the time to check in with them on the day when the king was born in Bethlehem. Yes, we may have missed the nativity play, but we will endure, it's just humanity's way. And children will sing rhymes in the back of the estate when we're allowed to drive down to Nana's to stay. For some it's too late. So many won't be with us to make the most of the festivities. Deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathies. Find comfort in knowing they live on in your memories. I know it's hard when they were taken by an invisible enemy, but they'll be looking down on the family when they're opening presents, and you'll feel their spirit in the room even though they're not present. Remember building that snowman with the hat and the scarf. Remember drinking Baileys and having a laugh. Remember the turkey that Grandad would carve. And remember when your uncle was like an agony aunt. This top's well hot. Remember the times when your friends would be here and we'd all celebrate at the end of the year. And now it feels weird, we're all in separate tiers. Remember last year when we was in separate tiers?
Yeah.
And we took things for granted like sharing a beer, but Christmas is nearly here. And I want you to know we're all in this together. Be confident our country will always endeavour. Pour a cup of compassion, sprinkle love without measure, and be reassured that this won't last forever. So tell the little ones that Santa's still coming, and look on with a smile when they come down the stairs running, because most are oblivious to what we've really been through. Give them a hug and a kiss and say, I'll do this for you. I'll do my sentence.
Do it.
Just
say all
the sticker fell out, man. How is everyone? I know this, by the way, everyone who's performed have absolutely smashed it. And I want to shout out to my co-host or co-headliner, Curly Wordy. Make some noise for Curly Wordy. Everybody else, and I know that there's a couple of people coming on, but nice sentence, I have to do nice sentence. That's the reason why, a lot of the reason why I do poetry. And the stickers fell out and it's really irritating me right now.
Just start from the beginning and work your way to the end.
Oh yeah. Do you know like the nice sentence thing as well?
Yeah, don't forget you can get. I don't want to plug it, but have a look at his hoodie and see what it says.
I feel awkward right now, but yeah, I mean.
There you go.
I'm no model though.
You've got those online as well, and all the proceeds do go back into our charity work that we do in the community. And if you want to see me at the end, I've got this little scan thing that you can scan, and it shows you all my. It's quite clever actually. It's on the phone. It shows you all my socials. Can we have that last instrumental, please? I'm going to try and do it tonight. Have we ever stopped to ask that boy that carries a knife what he wants to do when he's older? If his parents are still together and who his role models are? Because I guarantee you, he don't live next door to a doctor. Instead, he's more than likely to be riding with thugs. And they're the ones in the community prescribing the drugs and driving those cars. And I wonder if, as a teenager, he's watching how the olders carry themselves and his learned behavior. I wonder if by the age of 12 he never had a father, and why? At the age of 13 he had his first balaclava. Was he ever scared? Is it that mum don't care, is it just that she was never there? Maybe she's out trying to provide for the family, and by the time she gets back she feels tired and angry. Are the arguments at home, is there a lack of affection? Are the boys outside offering you protection? From the youths up the road in a different postcode. The reason why you always go the long way home. So the olders on the block become your bigger brothers. Now it's almost as if you're related to each other. Gang related. Now we've got a council estate kid filled with hatred who needs to be initiated before he's fully affiliated. Is that environment just making him numbers? He'd have a choice, or is it safety in numbers? Because they're not meant to be your mentors. That's what we need grown men for. To lead by example and to nurture ambition, to teach discipline, to understand and to listen. And I apologize for generalizing, for coming across like I'm stereotyping. But we all need to know we are marginalizing a whole generation when we criminalize them. Who really wants to end up in prison or dying? And the social networks make it all look exciting. The way that gangs incite violence live online, and it's followed by an advert to make sure we're still buying. And I'm not about to blame this all on drill, but thoughts become words, and words become real. So tell me there's not a vested interest in what's manifesting, when all the kids can hear is I splashed him, and I chefed him, dipped him outside of his house and then left him. For his mum to find him? Have you been to a funeral and heard the mother crying? When her son's in the ground, it sounds like she's dying. And it's been like this for years, wiping those tears and printing those T's, saying, put the knife down, blaming police, writing to our local MPs. I see mums at knife crime rallies begging on their knees like, they've took my son, but make it stop, please. And it's our responsibility. Have you heard it takes a village to raise a child? But we're losing our communities and they're left to run wild. And this isn't the time for answers or excuses, but the youngest need to know there's consequences for their offences. Justice will be served if you're caught or let go. Because when you take a life, you forfeit your own.
Can he cope without the dope? Can she love herself without the commons? Can they thrive with hope? Can they share stuff in common? Everyone wants to make it, but no one wants to see them make it. Prosecco glasses and the flashing lights, yet we don't see the cries and all the self-fights. Man them dressing up to feel good around the boys, then grabbing girls and treating them like toys. Sexting Stacy, but fucking Janet. There's a whole lot of fish on this fucking planet, so why not have it? Living your best life on camera, but how fast can they run till they out of stamina? What happened to her? She used to be so damn confident. Couple less likes on the gram, that's the consequence. Now she's injecting her cheeks, fixing her image at least 3 times a week. I see an innocent woman who's afraid of her reflection, but you see a plastic girl who's dressed for the attention. That's what society has been giving them mixed messages. I try to tell them you can take pics that ain't for the gram, but more time people say to me, then what's the point then, fam? My tongue can't seem to respond because I know this is where this generation feel they belong. Online, blue tick, you're verified. Serious one, hundreds of likes, wow. Where's the love? Less interaction, less empathy, less hugs. Love's like a gun, but it never banged. 2 shots deep, 2 shots deep, drink is where we hang. Over the limits, it's cool to be an image for a minute. Your spirits are high, a quick little visit to adulthood. It feels like Christmas. So what poison are you picking? She'd rather wait for you to cheat so she has an excuse to leave. Cause she can't believe what she hears and sees every fucking night. Teeth from the reflection of his telephone screen. Cheeks so wide, looks like he just redeemed £1 million prize. But why is he staring at his phone when his prize is sitting right beside him? Nothing more valuable and precious than a queen sitting with her king.
Say it again.
But why is he staring at his phone when his prize is sitting beside him? Nothing more valuable than a queen sitting with her king. Or shall I call him a beggar now, since he's begging for another lady's attention? So next time you think a woman's moving frigid, she's just protecting her body's most insecure organ. Stop doing fraud on her and stealing all her energy, time, and love. I'm pretty sure she's done nothing but love. If you're making love trying to find it, that's the wrong first aid kit for a broken heart. You're just another figure trying to figure out where you belong. Where are you from? Our worlds are completely integrated from different backgrounds and races, so you would think we don't need to be racing. Challenging ourselves to be at the front before the other one does. Teamwork without the team makes the player weak and the work harder, lonelier. Year after year, I see the same shit, just a different day. Every day is like an outbreak for good and bad. Good if you're cultivating yourself to improve your well-being and health, because health is wealth, but we love to escape to the green. But the other side is not always greener. But it's like where everyone's at the moment, bottom deep. Ocean, seas, and sky beams, I wouldn't wish for anything else to see. I just want us to understand the concept of value, because life will come by and suck you up like a vacuum.
Facts.
So live it, but respectively. Live it with the knowledge that you have an impact on someone. That's responsibility.
Come on!
How many people here are parents?
Yeah, standard.
For us, don't put your hand up.
No. What do you mean? He's like little kids, bro. He's always.
Hey, you're racist. There's like 2 stereotypes. How dare you?
Man, it's his voice.
You gotta do Haroon right, man. Do Haroon right.
Right, that's my guy, man.
Jeez.
Alright, so what's your experience of parenthood been like then, Rohan?
Mama, I love it, man.
Okay.
Straight up,
My dad.
it's easy. Who? Yeah. Bro, I bought you on Gumtree. What are you talking? I love you, man.
So a friend of mine basically described parenthood as that moment when you realise that your heart no longer resides inside your chest, outside your chest.
Facts on facts.
Which I thought was probably the most perfect depiction of parenthood.
Facts on facts, bro.
So here's a little poem about my experience with parenthood. When an anxious attachment style meets long distance parenting, a clusterfuck ensues. I try to handle my own heart with asbestos gloves, yet it's irradiated with insecurity. It has a shitty half-life. Trust and surrender lacking. Unconditional love has its own rewards, even if I'm not the one cashing the checks. Wait for the wheel. It never fails. I hold tight. When dragged by it, I'm dragged down through the dirt, my lack of gratitude and my amnesia a source of shame. I wheel as I flog myself with it. I continue to hold tight to the wheel as it finally drags me up and into the light. Blue ticks never replied to don't last forever. The love I promised to nurture beckons. We chat. Their ferocity, their spirit, their lack of filter, their compassion for others, better than any DNA test. I have mixed feelings about a world that politicizes my 12-year-old. Truncated childhood, not what I had planned for them. We laugh, we swear. Mutual declarations of love fuel me at a time when the cost of a litre of unleaded will make your eyes water. I hover over travel lists, red, amber, green. I celebrate equal marriage in a faraway land, and they scoff sarcastically. So low bar, Dad. They remind me to reach for the stars with fingers fully stretched. Their self-awareness and affirmation of my choices. They remind me I am loved. They remind me I am loved. They remind me to demand better from this world. They haven't yet learned to accept breadcrumbs. They want nothing less than a whole fucking loaf. Crafted by artisanal hands, infused with unconditional love. Thank you.
We use our mouths and utter, you fucked up. We fucked, I'm gonna fuck him up, for fuck's sake, fuck her.
Wow.
Woo, woo. You need to start again on that.
That was a nice. That was a 6 star. I'm gonna lie. That was a 6.
We use our mouths and utter, you fucked up. We fucked, I'm gonna fuck him up, for fuck's sake, fuck her. But they all mean the same thing, because once you're in that state of fuck, your mind isn't functioning in this realm of normality, as you're being transported to a construct that your mind can't comprehend, can't ascertain. A place where decorum bows down to emotions, so the mere thought of translating these emotions into an acceptable form is laughable, where extremities bear all. Feelings penetrate the surface, it draws you deeper as it rotates around you, grabbing its hands around your waist, your arms, your throat, and the only thing you can do is to fuck the fuck. Life ain't always funny. The split between the black and white ties knots in my tummy. People walk around, their eyes half closed, as if it's too bright, too sunny. It ain't sunny. It's dark on the other side, but they turn a blind eye to the estate. The teacher won't let the boy into class, because he's arrived 5 minutes late. But this morning he watched the feds take his brother, because his brother didn't know another way. And while you lot sit up high, all this is happening just a couple blocks away. Turn on the TV, more blacks are being put away. And they tell me this country isn't racist. Convinced by what they say, blind by what they say, lies in what they say. Yet given just one chance, and we'll blow your minds away. I don't write rhymes for fun. I write because there's a lot to be done. You see, the kid down the road, he's holding a gun, while you lot dress up, go out and have fun. The kid down the road, she's holding a gun, while you lot go out, dress up and have fun. The kid down the road who's just lost someone. Sad, isn't it? But do you even realize, working so hard to make sure there's not a single hole in your bubble, complaining when a hint of reality seeps through. Life's hard, don't you know? What must we do to make you see? How many deaths before you see what we see can you see? This is me. This is us. Thank you.
Come on.
It's more so plugging Meta, because people here that know Meta know he does blogging, and he has an amazing YouTube channel. Meta's actually being a blessing to us and recording our engagement party. So if anyone is interested, please head over to the Metaphorest, get his YouTube page up, and have a look at him.
Buy his merch. Come on.
Yeah, support me, buy the merch.
Tag me in it. You wrote the thing and you messaged me saying, oh, sorry, I didn't tag you.
Okay, we just finished BYOB.
Tell you when he took me back to my childhood and shit.
And then watch out for Holiday, January 3rd.
Holliedee, Alassassin in the building. Metaphorest in the building.
Mr. Milise.
Let
me see if I can
what you know about Milise?
He's in the vlog now, he's in the vlog.
What you know about Milise? Poet, DJ,
Poet DJ, Garage MC. Garage, you can't forget the MC.
What you didn't know is my man found Soul Crew before they were Soul Crew.
Hey, ooh, dance vibes. He's a dancer as well. Like, hey, okay. Hey, that's Hollidee's got moves.